My name is Noah Carter, and for most of my life, my family never took me seriously. I wasn't the lawyer like my sister, or the surgeon like my brother. I was just the one who never quite figured it out. At least, that's how they saw me. What they didn't know was that I'd built something of my own. Quietly. A small tech startup that I'd grown, piece by piece, into a thriving business. But I never talked much about it, not because I was hiding it, but because I was tired of explaining myself to people who didn't care to listen. Then came the dinner that changed everything. My parents had decided to have a family night at a new restaurant downtown, one of those modern fusion places that everyone was talking about. When I arrived, I noticed my father's disapproving glance immediately. "Still with the sneakers, Noah," he said, shaking his head. I smiled. "Comfort over show, Dad." My sister, Melissa, laughed. "You say that because you can't afford designer shoes." My mother quickly hushed her, but the damage was done. I laughed it off and sat down. I'd learned long ago not to take their jabs personally. Dinner went fine, until my father called the waiter over. The waiter, a young guy probably in his 20s, came to take our dessert order. He looked a little nervous, new maybe. Melissa ordered something complicated, then complained when he mixed up the toppings. "Unbelievable," she muttered. "Does anyone here even know how to do their job?" The waiter apologized. My father sighed loudly. "This is ridiculous. We should speak to the owner." My mother agreed. "Yes, it's unacceptable for a place like this." The waiter stammered, I can get the manager if you'd like." "Yes," my father said firmly. "Do that. Tell the owner we want a word." I sat quietly, watching it unfold. A few minutes later, the young man returned, looking uncertain. "The owner will be right out," he said. Melissa crossed her arms. "Good. Maybe they'll hire someone competent next time." My father looked proud of himself, as if he'd just solved a great injustice. Then the door to the back office opened, and I stepped through it. Their faces froze. I smiled. "Evening." I heard someone wanted to speak to the owner. For a moment, no one said a word. My mother's hand went to her mouth. My father blinked twice, like he couldn't process what he was seeing. "You," Melissa whispered. "You're the owner?" I nodded. "Co-owner, technically. But yes, this place is part of my company's hospitality branch." I walked closer, keeping my tone calm. I didn't realize my own family had such high expectations for service. My father's voice cracked slightly. "Noah, you never told us." "I tried," I said softly. "You all thought my business was just a hobby. Remember?" Melissa sank in her seat, red-faced. "We didn't mean." "Oh, I know," I said, smiling faintly. "You were just being yourselves." I turned to the waiter, who was still standing there nervously. "What's your name?" "Eli," he said quietly. "Eli, you're doing fine. You handled that professionally. Take 10 minutes off on me." He smiled, nodded, and walked off. Then I looked back at my family. "Now, about your complaint." No one spoke. Finally, my mother said softly, "We're sorry, Noah. We didn't know." "I know you didn't," I said. "That's the problem." My father shifted uncomfortably. "I suppose we owe that young man an apology." I nodded. "That would be a good start." He sighed and looked down. "You've done well, son. Better than we thought." "Thanks," I said. "I wasn't doing it for approval." Melissa gave a weak smile. "You really own this whole place?" "Actually, 4 of them," I said. "This one's my favorite, though. The food's good, when the customers are kind." After a long silence, my mother finally laughed quietly. "We really walked right into that, didn't we?" "Yeah," I said. "But at least now you can tell your friends your son owns something real." My father smiled reluctantly. "You've grown up, Noah. I guess we just didn't notice." "Maybe now you will," I said. When they left, I stayed behind, talking with the staff and checking receipts. Before walking out, I noticed something on the counter, a note from my father. It said, "Proud of you, son. And sorry for not seeing you sooner." I folded the note and put it in my pocket. That night, I realized something important. I didn't need revenge or to embarrass them. I just needed them to see who I'd become. And the look on their faces, when the owner they demanded turned out to be me, was worth every long night and sleepless hour I'd spent building my dream. Sometimes, you don't need to prove people wrong with words. You just have to let success walk out of the back office and say hello.